Gonna sit right down and write myself a letter. I'm gonna... Oh, hey. What? You don't shave on your way to work? Am I literally the only one that... Okay, well. Yeah, pardon me. I can shave later. Well, it's another day. It's another beautiful day. I don't know, what's going to happen because I'm a normal person. That extra noise that you might hear is my stepson. He is pressure washing his car off. So I got him set up, taught him how to use a pressure washer, and he's going to town. So we'll see if there's any paint left when he's done. But it's his car, so. Bland. Well, bland, the uncar. Anyway, we've got some work to do on Mr.E. I know. These last few weeks I've been putting off things to do on him because I was working on Mr. F. No, it's E comes before F, but it's not Y. There's letters in the alphabet. It just happened. Okay. Well, this coffee was hot when I left the house. It is still way too hot to drink. So let's dive in. We'll just kind of drink this as we work today instead of sitting down and doing nothing as per usual. Okay then, glad you're here. All right, continuing on with the wiring situation. It looks like a mess right now, because it is. Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do with this? Anyway, of course, that's gonna go up in that hole there, the fuse box, and then I've got a couple of plugs that go on this side of the firewall for it. This one goes to the headlights, paraphernalia, and this one goes to a lot of the engine management stuff, which I don't need because engine management, over there, stuff. So I'm gonna de-pin a bunch of these that I'm not going to use and don't need. So part of the reason why wiring takes so long besides the routing and planning is these wiring harnesses, which are just genius now. They label each wire with what it goes to, so there's no schematic that you have to look at. You just simply say you're on that end, and then you come over to this end, and it doesn't really matter where. You just grab the wire, and you're like, oh, what's that for? I need my glasses, I can't read that. But once I get my glasses, then I know what it's for on this end. So it simplifies doing this. So don't be intimidated by it. It's really not that difficult. When I say de-pin, see all these pins here that are going to plug in there? Well, I am simply going to unpin them and pull the wire out so that it will neaten this side up. I won't have wires coming out this side that I do not need. So Yeah, so that's what I'm working on right now. I just ran wires up to here from the air conditioning. These are actually ground wires, and then there's also a wire in here that goes to the binary switch, which goes to the compressor. I have to kind of plan that routing out. And also for the fans, this activates the fan, because the engine management system knows when the engine needs fan, when it doesn't, but also the air conditioning is going to activate the fan. So that has to be planned out there, and whatnot, and so forth, and so on, and you know what I'm saying. Okay, but we're gonna interrupt. We're gonna interrupt this just for a moment, because we've got a new car in the shop, and I am super excited about it. It's a relative of Ella's, and the relative is, oh, still going. Hang on, we're still going. It's almost done. Hang on a minute. Well, there we go. There's the front of it. Look at this. A Buick Centurion. I mean, look at it. It takes a century just to walk the length of it, and I thought Ella was long. This is a 1973 Centurion. And I haven't opened it up. I haven't popped the hood, haven't done anything to the car yet. Look, it's even. You can take the top off. I mean, who doesn't love that? A big car that's also a convertible. So, you can kind of see a family resemblance here with the taillights versus the taillights of, you know, Ella. Yeah, so it's a big Buick. Now I have two big Buicks in the shop. So quickly, the story on this car is it was inherited, you know, family thing, and on its trip down to its new home, a couple hours from where its old home was, it suffered some sort of failure. I don't know if it's engine or whatever, blew some belts off. They got that fixed-ish and got it home, but it's not running right. It doesn't want to idle very well. It doesn't want to, you put it in reverse or drive, it wants to die immediately, and there may or may not be a small bit of, well, smoke out of the tailpipe that possibly wasn't there before. So my job, our job, is to diagnose it. Carburetor's been rebuilt. He had that done. It's got plugs, wires, you know. It's got all the maintenance stuff, belts, all of that. It's just, you know, we're gonna hope for the best on this one. We're gonna hope that it's something simple and then it will run like a top. But we'll check it all. So, yeah, I just figured I'd bring you in and share that with you, because you're gonna be seeing this big red convertible in the background as I'm working on Mr.E. So, all right, I'm gonna get back to work. I just had to take a break. I'm, you know, anytime a new car comes in the shop, I'm excited because, you know, it's a new car. I don't know, why do I have to explain myself to you? I don't have to. It just is what it is. I just figured I'd take you in on the... Can we turn off the music? I said turn off the music. Turn off the music! Sorry. Didn't mean to be so loud. Thank you. I gotta get better help. That's, you know, that's the main issue these days, is getting good help. Okay, can't get good help these days. Pretty sure they said that in 1920. Pretty sure they said that in 1620. Anyway, so as you can see, I've been playing with wires, and so let's look at what I've been playing with and what I plan on playing with, and you know, take a break from all of the fast movements and loud music. Okay. So, I've got my binary switch for the air conditioning. It's all in. So basically, that won't run unless there's pressure in the system. And these I just still have hanging out over here for the lights that I need. What's the other one? Oh, the fans. I got the fans all wired in. And of course they're activated by, sorry, I just got towels everywhere trying to protect this paint. They're activated by the computer. So I have those plugged in. And it's really hard visually because it looks like the same amount of wires that were there before, but there's more where that came from. The starter, what am I trying to say? You know, the signal wire for the starter that tells the starter, hey, time to do starter things. I've got that run. What else was I doing? I'm working on, so this is, of course, we've talked about my fuel pump signal wire, which also is sent from the engine management. So I'm running this all the way to the back is what I'm working on. Actually, I think I'll put the car on the lift because I need to run, I've got a feed wire for the gauge, and then I've got to run that power wire from the computer back to the tank as well. But it'd be easier if the car was up in the air and I can do that. So, and then I also got the pedal, the throttle pedal mounted. So I just had to make a bracket. It kind of had to stand off with spacers, different size spacers on the 3 mounting points. And also the firewall isn't level, so I had to, anyway. Instead of making one big bracket that stood the pedal off, which we have to do, because as you can see, when we go all the way to wide open throttle, we're really close to the floor. Right now there's a space enough for carpet, but only. And if the throttle pedal had been mounted straight to the firewall, I would have had no pedal travel. So I had to stand it off, used some creative bracketry ingenuity. That, I think, is a pedal assembly from like a Cadillac CTS-V, something like that, which of course plugs directly in to all of the computer management, you know, for the engine and all of that. So, so that's plugged in. And then of course all of these wires, I have a wire coming in for the control box for the parking brake. I have wires coming in for this MIL is actually for a light. It's kind of like the check engine light. management type of thing. And then this is your ignition on signal wire that wakes up the computer. Tells it it's okay to do things. Yeah, and then all of the under dash stuff, which I actually need a dashboard. I got to reach out to the owner. He's been working on that for me, but I need a dashboard to figure out where all the spaghetti goes. You know, where does it come out? Where do I can't put it somewhere until I know that. So we've got the harness that goes back, which of course my fuel pump wire is going to feed along with, and all of that. So that's, you know, I know it might not seem as exciting or interesting as a lot of the other things. All of those, you know, wire spaghetti may make it just seem overwhelming, but we've talked about this. How do you eat an elephant? That's right, one bite at a time. So when you're doing wiring, you're not wiring a whole harness, you're wiring one wire at a time. Well, what's this do? Where does it go? What does it need? Okay, in the case of a ground, are there other grounds nearby? Can we put them together? Are there other wires that need to route this way? What's this wire? You know, that's all it is. So you just do one wire at a time. It's not complicated. It just looks complicated with wires everywhere, but don't be intimidated by it. Tackle it. It is doable. So, okay, that is the update. We have updates, and I'm going to just keep on doing it. Trying to think if there's really anything notable. A couple of things possibly is that we're using wire loom for everything. We're not just bunching wires together without protection. We want, most of these are powered wires. Grounds, of course, we don't care. Grounds can ground out because that's what we want them to do. But anything powered that could possibly rub on something or go through a firewall, you need a grommet. You don't have to loom everything, but honestly, it is the best way to protect against future shorts by just some rubbing or random things. All of these are powered wires. They're all protected. They can all handle the wear and vibration. These down here, they're running right next to these, which will be extremely hot when the vehicle's running. So this is heat shielding. I'll be kind of tightening them up at some point, but they run, if they're not touching, they're super close to touching. So you've got to protect all of these starter wires, power wires with heat shielding. So anyway, that's just wiring 101. You can, again, you can do it without, because wires have their own shielding with rubber, you know, the wires. But it's easily rubbed through. So having a little extra protection in key areas will just save you headaches down the road. So anyway, I just, you know, figured I'd spice up my little speech with some good words of advice, because everybody loves that. All right, I gotta get back to work. Just chill out. quick. Where's my light? There's my light. I don't know if you have trouble seeing like I do, but you know, just in case. So the wiring harness for the fuel pump and for the fuel sender comes out of here. So I have two grounds going to a ground supplied on the tank and then grounded to the frame. And then I have my sender and power wire coming around here, and then they'll go up into the trunk right here. So I have a grommet up inside the trunk that they'll go into. You kind of saw what I was doing before, but if you notice the ends on this loom that I'm using, you can use electrical tape just to kind of neaten and tie the ends off, get it to stay where it is. Or you can use a piece of shrink tubing, which makes it look very neat and orderly. I did a little bit of that up front. I have also used tape, mainly where I forgot to slide one of these on. Don't tell anyone. It's okay, the tape works too. This just looks a lot neater. And so that's what I'm trying to remember to do, but you have to slide it on ahead of everything else. And you know, sometimes you're in the middle of it and you forget. So just wrap a little tape neatly on the end. It does the same thing. Just holds it in place, makes the joint look a lot neater and more professional. It's not expensive. You could do it at home in your garage, in any project, if you just want it to look neat and like someone who knew what they were doing did it, which, you know, fool me once. Okay, I'm gonna lower this back down. I think what I've got next on the agenda is wiring, since I have taillights, that camera guy, whoop, up there, I can run my, you know, I know what lengths that I have and that I need and all of that. So I'll probably try to button that up right now. Okay, I have finished the wiring in the back. I'll show that to you quick. And then we're going to move on to something completely unrelated, which is the steering. Before we do, I'll just kind of show you what I did. This is, we've got the taillights in, and so basically you've got all of the taillight wires run, all of the side marker going to where they need to go with enough, you know, leeway. And then of course the main harness, which isn't fastened to anything. I'm not sure how the trunk is going to be finished out. Those are for courtesy lamps, basically interior dome lights, if there's a trunk lights, rear seat lights. I don't know exactly in this area what lighting that's going to include. If this trunk is going to be custom with sound equipment in it, whatever, those are just there for later. So, and if this trunk is finished, all of this will be hidden and so on. So, and I don't have the side marker lamps yet, but the bulb, there's enough pigtail in there to be able to attach those. So, okay, so that was easy. It's always looks easier than it is, but it's all doable. So, steering. If you can take a gander down in there, you'll see the, steering apparatus with the knuckle. I'm trying to point to it right there. And that's supposed to come up and join with the steering column. Well, what we have is this header in the way. If I'm going to run from the steering column at a straight angle down to that, it hits this. And there's no way to really clearance this enough. So there are a couple solutions. The solution that I am going to try is I've got a double knuckle here, and I will attempt to use this to go around the header. I've got some double D steering shaft here, and I'm going to try to basically go from, it's going to take a little mocking up and stuff, but basically go from there, go around the header and into there, and hopefully as it turns, it will stay away from the header. So that's the theory. We'll try this first. We'll mock that up, see how it looks, and if it works. And if it doesn't, we will go to plan, I don't know, 1 million. Is there a number high enough? I don't know. We'll go to the next plan anyway. So that's it. That's it. I would like to stand here talking, but I guess I'm the only one in here, so I better get to work. Okay, I apologize for any extra noise that you might be experiencing, but as you can see behind me, there's a large fan blowing, and that's because it's the dog days of summer, you know, where the dogs are just laying in the shade because it's so humid and hot outside. As you might remember, I have no air conditioning in here, and normally it's just fine. Right now it's reading 81 degrees 35% humidity. I can work in that. It's just a little warm. So if I seem a little low energy, that is why. I'm a guy that loves cold weather. I just do. I'm energized by it, and hot weather, well, it does the opposite for me. So I guess it's the Viking blood pouring through my veins. Okay, so as you saw, I was working on the red Centurion, and also working on Mr.E here. And so first, let me take you over to the Centurion. We'll talk about that for a minute. Just kind of took a break to at least try to diagnose something. And then we'll come back here, and I can't remember where we left off on this. So I'll just start jibber jabbering about what I want to. And if I'm not answering a question, well, I'm sorry. Blame it on the heat. Yeah, so let's take a peek at this. I know I still need to do the lights. You know, I don't need you reminding me of all the things I need to do. I'll get to it. Just hasn't, you know, it's been a busy time. So if you want to come over, I'll put you on the little skyjack over there. See, I've got 2 lights, and then you can put my lights up. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so to recap, the customer brought the car in because it wasn't running well, and it had white smoke out the tailpipe, and they didn't know it was wrong. So I had my suspicions, but I went through, I pulled a plug. I wanted to see what it looked like, checked the oil, checked the coolant, checked all the vacuum lines. A couple of issues I found right away is that there was some vacuum lines not connected or just broken because they're old and falling apart. There was some vacuum ports that weren't plugged, that weren't being used, which that can cause an engine not to run exactly right. So I repaired those. I also found that the coolant level was low. Now, this will make sense in a moment, but basically I started the car, let it warm up. You know, it took a little while before it would run on its own. Then I put it in drive, and I put it in reverse, and of course it wanted to die. I ended up being able to get it running to go in reverse, and it just poured white smoke out the tailpipe, which kind of points to one direction. I believe, well, okay, before we tell you that direction, which you've probably already guessed, I checked the radiator after I had turned the car off and pulled it back in the shop, and it was very bubbly foamy at the top, and not just only green colored. Yeah. So I believe what we have here is A or B bad head gaskets, which would cause the steam, the smoke, which is actually steam, that is coolant leaking into the exhaust manifold and evaporating into steam out the back. So that will cause that. And then the fact that it's running so badly, bad head gaskets will cause that. So yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. Anyway, I've reached out to the owner of the car, and I left the decision into their hands. What they want to do, do they want to put new head gaskets on, which of course would include intake gaskets, exhaust manifold gaskets, because those things have to come off. Or just park the car if, you know, they can't do it right now, whatever. So, yeah, it's too bad. But I believe that with new head gaskets, that car will run like a top and be good to go. All the other signs point to a healthy engine. It's got oil pressure, it's got the things it needs. So, all right, now we're on this. We're completely switching gears. Again, I don't remember where I was, but where I'm going is the steering. That's probably where I was. So I got this is a spherical bushing that we talked about, I think, if I remember right. Or maybe I just dreamed it while I was sweating. But because this is a double joint, this needs to be located. By located, I mean it needs to be fixed, or else this double joint will just flop around and hit things and bind up when you try to steer the car. So if you use this spherical bushing to fix it, keep it still when it's turning, then this will act right because it's being kept still on this end. It's also being kept still on this end, and then these will function as they are meant to. So I have to figure out either a bracket or some method of fastening that. That will be a little bit of a fun time. And of course, because, you know, I'll probably ruin one because that's just the way life goes. And they're not expensive. I just bought two. In the chance that I don't ruin one, well, I'll have an extra. You never know. You know, I mean, I have another vehicle that maybe might benefit. I don't know, you know, just saying. So there's that. I've got the owner of the car has got my shopping list, which I gave him on the whiteboard there last week. So I've got O2 sensors coming. I've got dash components coming, gauges ordered, all of that stuff. I've got the old dash pad just sitting up here. It obviously needs to be reupholstered, but I was just trying to kind of see how far things went down, kind of how it was looking. So once I get that stuff, I can start kind of plugging in the controls, seeing what I have some vents and different things for the HVAC system that I can start placing, and yeah, maybe I need some knobs that I don't have, which I can order as it goes on. So I'll wait till oh yeah, all the stuff for the lights, corners, lights, grill, all that stuff. I really want to have that before I finish wiring. It's just good to know. I could guess, but then why would I guess? Let's just wait till those are in. So he ordered those. Those are coming. Got me a battery coming so that I can terminate my battery terminals here. And then I'll have power to the system, which of course I won't plug in, but I'll be ready for when I can start testing components and whatnot. So with that in mind, it may be another, you know how shipping is, a week or two before that stuff shows up. I'm going to work on the steering, and also I've been kind of paging through. This is the Chevrolet Performance, you know, LSX long block specifications, and it kind of walks you through you know, how to set up your PVC, your air bleed system, intake, you know, startup and break-in procedures, which I'm kind of going through right now to make sure that I haven't missed anything. One thing in reading that I have missed is it doesn't have a dipstick in it. So I need to put that in, and then I can fill it with oil, probably fill the transmission with oil. I need to start bleeding things like my clutch system and brake system, you know, all of the stuffs. So I'll just kind of keep pedaling away at this thing, and then I'll take you in when I get, you know, too hot or too tired, or something is so absolutely mind-blowingly exciting that I don't want you to miss it. All right, back to work. Okay, well, I don't even know what I'm going to say. I just showed up here. We're going to take two. I don't know what the two's going to be, but hi. Well, it's still the dog days of summer. I still have a fan running in my shop. Actually, lots of fans. But you'll be happy to know that I have fixed my two lights, you know. I know it's been on your mind. I know you've been after me. Hey, why don't you fix those? You have nothing better to do with your time. And it seems like at the end of every day, I either had something unexpected come up, like this, or I was tired because I had something unexpected come up, like this.
I don't know. Lower suspension, probably. It's really nothing good to hook it on to.
So, you know, it's been a week. I'll just tell you that. But got them fixed. Put new lights in last night. And so where are we at? Where are we at with this So I put engine oil in. I got the plugs and wires in on this side, or I had plugs in. I got the wires and the wire boots because obviously these are going to be way too hot just for regular wires to be resting on them. Did not on this side yet because I'm waiting on some metal that I am going to use for a bracket for that to come in. So that'll be next week for my steering, you know, to locate that. Got the brakes bled. So how I did that, and you know, there's lots of different ways to skin a cat. In this, I thought Louis might have been around and he doesn't like that expression for some reason. Anyway, then I remembered I kicked him out of the shop so I could say whatever cat things I want. As far as I know. Anyway, so what I did with this is I did not bleed the master cylinder separate. Hear me out. This is why I didn't do that. The whole system is, was empty of fluid. It only had air in it. So I filled this up and I just gave it whatever time it needed to gravity bleed. But gravity bleeding essentially just introduces fluid in the lines. This is the highest point. So if I open all of the four corners, or even just one at a time, it's allowing pressure out, which of course air will be coming out, and it will allow that to just trickle down. Now, that doesn't remove air bubbles. That just gets fluid to here. So once you gravity bleed all four corners, and this works particularly well if you have nothing in the system, there's just air, and I'm putting fluid in. Then once I've got fluid coming out to the four corners, then I come back and I pressure bleed them. So then I start feeding straight fluid, you know, this stays full through until I get no more bubbles, and then it's done. So it's what I did. So there you go. There's the explanation. Yeah, I'm thinking that's all the time that I have this week on this car. So with that abrupt departure and explanation, that's what we're gonna stop with. So yeah, I'm just gonna walk over here, and I got some presents for next week. So yeah, I'm just gonna go see what they are. Oh, you're still here. Hey, we can shut the music off. I guess I thought that was it, but you're welcome to stay. I'm not saying you can't stay. I'm not used to that. I used to just fading to black, and then I'm by myself in blackness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Oh, anyway, yeah, well, I'm sorry, but you don't get to see this stuff until next week. But I will say, I got O2 sensors, so that's cool. What else did I get? I'm not going to show you that box. Oh, I got some side marker lights, which I will show you a problem with that next week. What else? Oh, dang it. I thought I got a sticker, but it's just a card. You always hope for stickers, you know, to stick on things. I mean, I'm not losing hope. Yeah, I've pretty much lost hope. There's no stickers. Well, what good is it? Okay, Well, with that bombshell, see you next week. Thank you again for being here. Say it every week, mean it every week. Cars are people too. .com.